Hey there guys, Red here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than usual. So after I posted my lore analysis video on the Knight's Nexus, someone left a comment sharing this video with me and asked for my thoughts on it. And I've never really done something like this before, so I decided I would give it a try. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to do a response to this theory video of Bravely Default 2 by KillerMontage on Seth being Bravery. Before we begin, I harbor no ill will towards KillerMontage. I don't have any beef with them. I don't know who they are. I'm not looking to start drama or any kind of, dumb stuff like that. I'm just here to respond to the theory. So I wish them no ill will. Don't go on any kind of dislike brigade. Don't go and type 50 comments saying, well, actually, Red Nova Tyrant pointed out. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm sure this video will probably find its way down the pipeline to KillerMontage eventually somehow. So just let that happen naturally. Don't go harassing them. I don't want them to have any trouble. That being said, I don't entirely agree with this theory. I have a couple of points. I have some notes here that I'm going to go through. This is like very free form, so this is again a very different type of video for me. Usually I have things a lot better scripted. And this one's going to be a little more rambly. But I have some notes here that because I've watched the video over and over and over trying to get my points down on what I think. And I'm just going to go through them as we go through the video and explain why I agree or disagree with something. There are a couple points that I agree with from this theory, but for the most part, there are some things that I disagree with. So without further ado, I guess we get into it. And before we actually watch the video, the first thing I want to say of the video itself, when you're doing a theory video, I feel like 3 minutes is a bit short. Now, that may be like KillerMontage's kind of thing, is that they want to go for short videos shortly and get their points across really quickly. That's fine, I understand it. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here when I say it, but when I did my Knight's Nexus video, I went for 20 minutes because that's the amount of time it took me to get every single point across that I wanted to talk about. And to clearly and thoroughly explain every point of my theory in full as to why I believed in something. I feel like 3 minutes is like really, really restricting yourself to being able to fully explain your points. And maybe, who knows, maybe this is all KillerMontage was going for. Maybe this is all they had in mind. This is the only things they want to say. This could also be just a very observational theory. It doesn't go super in depth. It's just kind of a theory crafting kind of video, and that's fine. I'm just saying that if I would have preferred if it was longer and had a couple more points to back it up, because I feel that'll some of the points are a bit open-ended to some degree. That again, that's just my thoughts. But enough of this. Let's just get into the video itself. Wasted enough time, so let's go.
Go. Return to the land, to your destiny.
Seth is the embodiment of bravery, blessed by the Wind Crystal. From the beginning of the game to the very end, Seth's character is one of courageousness, always jumping into the fray to help anyone in need.
A monster! Quickly! Get out of here!
So this very first point, Seth being bravery, I 100% agree with it. This is like the one point that I really agree with. Seth is probably the best embodiment of bravery in the Bravely Default universe. Better than Tiz and you in this regard. He's a very courageous character. And yeah, I completely agree with KillerMontage on this. He's willing to jump into the fray to do whatever it takes, whatever is needed to protect friends, loved ones, in the world. So I fully agree with KillerMontage on this point. Seth is a very good personification or representation for bravery. But the view is going to shift very quickly here, so let's continue.
Remember that broken piece of the Brave Bearer asterisk? The original 4 Heroes of Light had to have fought the Knights Nexus at the same Isle, which would explain how Seth brought with him the missing piece that Sir Sloan lost.
So I can see where this line of logic comes from, but I don't agree with it. Regarding the missing piece of the asterisk, when you go out sailing for the first time, it specifically says, and I quote, I looked up what the boating simulator says, when you find the precious stone, or the pretty stone, something was spotted floating in the ocean. So it was out in the water. It wasn't exactly on the Isle of Nothingness. And so when they say that when KillerMontage says that the previous Heroes of Light had to have been on the Isle of Nothingness for the stone to be there, it doesn't make sense when it's in the ocean. Now, maybe it's on the shore or something, or washed off. But I have my reasons to believe that they didn't fight the Nexus on the Isle of Nothingness. I believe that the Heroes of Light, the previous Heroes of Light, Sir Sloan's group, went down and fought the Nexus wherever place that Edna stopped the party from getting to. As Gloria demands, Gloria says, stand aside, let us pass. And so that means that there is something beyond that room, even though it does look closed off. There is something beyond the room where you fought Edna. And that's where I believe the previous Heroes of Light went to fight the Nexus in this case. Because they wouldn't have had any particular reason to know about the Isle of Nothingness, because Emma never seemed to have translated the journal in full. Only Elvis did. Emma even says in her journal that she never finished translating it per se, because she never got her hands on all the asterisks. She probably could have, but she didn't, and she didn't translate the book, so they never would have known that they needed to go to the Isle of Nothingness after destroying the save slot. This is kind of just important for later in the theory, but basically, again, summing up, I don't think that the previous Heroes of Light fought the Nexus on the Isle of Nothingness. They probably fought it in whatever room is after the crystal's resting place, and Seth just found the stone out in the ocean while boating, as it says during the first time you ever go out boating, when you unlock it at the start of the game. Yeah, that's basically it.
Or it could mean that Seth is the Brave Bearer asterisk, somehow personified in human form by the Wind Crystal.
So this is where things kind of start really falling apart for me. I start seeing more cracks in the theory. That kind of is like answering a question with an answer that causes 50 more questions. And it's not something, it's kind of like an assumption, and I'm not a big fan of that. And, some people might start criticizing me of being a hypocrite for the theorizing. And yeah, maybe I'm being hypocritical here, criticizing KillerMontage for making an assumption. And yeah, that's kind of theory, but there's not really any kind of proof or reason behind why you would think the Wind Crystal can turn an asterisk into a person. We've never had that kind of thing happen before. It could happen here just for the sake of the game. It just feels unlikely, is the thing. Saying that Seth is an embodiment or a manifestation of the Brave Bear asterisk just doesn't make sense to me, especially when he's holding the asterisk in his hand, the revived asterisk later on. So I don't know, something would say to me, if the asterisk is fixed, then Seth would disappear or something. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to say that the Brave Bear asterisk is Seth, or vice versa. Yeah, especially when asterisks were defined in this game as being collections of memories from specialized fields over generations. So I don't know.
After all, the game starts with Seth lost at sea, much like the lost piece of the asterisk.
So I'm going to take this a bit literally here. Earlier he had said that the stone had to be in the Isle of Nothingness because that's where the four heroes of light had fought the Nexus, and now he's saying that the stone was in the ocean. So yes, I agree that it was in the ocean, but I just feel, I don't know, maybe I'm taking it too literally here. Oh, this is a terrible response.
Coming from across the ocean to bring strength to the destined heroes of light, which could explain why Seth was able to overcome the Knight's Nexus in the final boss battle by having infinite bravery.
This is a point that's fine. It's a fine point to use for the argument, for the sake of this theory. I don't agree with it, but I do think it is a valid perspective to take on it. The way I always viewed the scene was, it's the player reminding Seth to be brave because we're the one pushing the button repeatedly and causing that infinite bravery, and we tell him to be brave and fight through the Nexus's overwhelming strength. So that's my thoughts on that. That's where I think that comes from. But I can completely understand the other perspective where he's saying that Seth is the one causing the infinite bravery because he is an embodiment of bravery. So for the sake of this theory, I understand it. I'm fine with that.
And why he couldn't recall any other memories. It's clear that Seth...
Well, we more or less know, based on the Knight's Nexus video I did, that Seth doesn't have any memories because the Knight's Nexus took them all. So...
is not from any of the realms you travel to in the game.
What the? This map doesn't make any sense.
His original home only talked about in side quests.
A little village miles from anywhere.
He comes from across the ocean, and as you get closer to the final ending, the player comes to understand that he too is tied to the Knight's Nexus,
yes,
the asterisks, and
yes,
Lady Emma's book.
Yeah.
Based on what the Fairy Queen says to him, it's clear that Seth's home is originally the Isle of Nothingness.
No. I very much disagree with this. There is clearly no fishing village there. There's nothing on the Isle of Nothingness to show that is Seth's home. As it's stated, the Outer Oceans isn't just, the only thing out there is the Isle of Nothingness. The Outer Oceans are the dimensions beyond this one. And so there could be many, many islands and continents and nations way out there that, he could have come from. The Isle of Nothingness, to me, feels like a creation from the Nexus as a place to store its save slot, in a sense. And it's based on the Nexus's memories from when it was Inanna, as she was a resident of Excellent, and it's made up of various pieces of Excellent in that sense. So it makes sense that it's this weird hodgepodge of all these different places from Excellent that she created to use as a storage place for her own preservation. It doesn't really feel like it would make sense that Seth would be from there. And another thing to note about the Isle of Nothingness is that when you get to the center of it, instead of the height of the world Musa, where Inanna used to live, instead you go down into the depths to fight the Nexus, into a massive pit. So yeah, there's that. But I really don't think Seth is from the Isle of Nothingness. Even he makes note of the point that he probably came from the realm of the dead when the Wind Crystal revived him. That's probably the case. He could be from anywhere. One crackpot theory I have, and it's like, I have absolutely nothing to back this up, so I probably would never make a video on this, because I don't have a lot of points I can use to, back that up. That's why I like doing theory ones, is if I have enough points to talk about, then I make it and try to serve the argument. One crackpot theory could be Seth is from the island of Wa. And Wa is an island that's referenced in weapon details and descriptions in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, but I have literally no proof of this. So, you know, I'm not going to make a video saying that Seth is from there. But yeah, that's just my thought, I guess. This is just a whole mess. This is why I stick to scripts, guys.
But then, what of the memories and details he recounts to Glory?
And that's the other thing, and this is a point that's about to come up, and I'm going to argue against it, but that's another point, is if the Isle of Nothingness is his home, where is the fishing village and all the people that, you know, he talks about as his home, you know?
In an earlier side quest, the memories Seth has of his village are most likely old knowledge collected by the Knight's Nexus.
Another example, like with the Seth being the Brave Bear asterisk, another example of, okay, how, why? It's an answer that causes like 50 more questions with it. You know, like, why would the Nexus give Seth those kinds of memories? When did the Nexus give Seth those kinds of memories? How did he get access to them? It just doesn't make any sense to me, you know, as an answer. Okay, let's look at it this way. If Seth is the Brave Bear asterisk, then what you're telling me is the memories that were stored within that asterisk are the memories of fishermen and fishwives and a small fishing village on the other side of the sea. That's one way that I could interpret that. I just don't... I don't know. It just doesn't... There's nothing connecting those two threads. It's like, how does that happen? And then, you know, we don't get an answer for that, and that's what kind of disturbs me about, or not disturbs me, but annoys me, I guess, about some of this theory, its pieces, is that it doesn't explain itself. And that's why I went over that thing at the start, is that 3 minutes is a very short amount of time, so you don't have the time to really, you know, get your points across with it. So, yeah, but I don't necessarily agree with this idea. Like, I don't know how the Nexus could have given Seth those memories. You know, if he is the Brave Bear asterisk, then you're saying that those memories that he have as the Brave Bear asterisk are those of fishermen who had the asterisk beforehand. But I don't know. Again, yeah, this is a theory video. I understand that, but it just I don't know, it just doesn't tie up the loose ends that I'm looking for in a nice, very well-rounded theory.
All this to say that the final ending is the happiest ending, because the heroes, along with you, the player, learn that true bravery comes with sacrifice. Every other ending of the game sees to it that one of the heroes sacrifices themselves, and themes of bravery permeate all throughout the game.
Okay, so this one's weird. Yeah, this is a point. Like, this is, yeah, you're stating a fact here. But it's a weird transition because, let's go back. What of his memories?
An earlier side quest, the memories Seth has of his village are most likely old knowledge collected by the Knight's Nexus.
So once again, why would he have those memories if the Knight's Nexus collected them?
All this to say that the final ending is the happiest.
And then we immediately jump into talking about what the overall meaning of the game is. So I don't know. It feels very jumpy in the points it's trying to make. But no, I do agree with this point here about how true bravery comes with sacrifice, I guess. It's
because the heroes...
This part's fine, though. This part's fine.
With you, the player, learn that true bravery comes with sacrifice. Every other ending of the game sees to it that one of the heroes sacrifices themselves, and themes of bravery permeate all throughout the game.
True bravery consists in confronting that which we fear. Alas, 'tis a feat easier spoken of than achieved.
But the Knight's Nexus could only truly be defeated by Seth when he was at his most courageous. Which is why the Wind Crystal blesses Seth once again in the final after credits scene.
Okay. This one I feel is just kind of, I keep saying this. This is speculatory, but this is my response to this theory, and this part I heavily agree with. The Knight's Nexus was not defeated because Seth was courageous.
Nexus could only truly be defeated by Seth when he was at his most courageous.
That's not why the Nexus was finally defeated. As we know from the story, the Nexus was finally defeated because we destroyed the asterisk that was prolonging its life indefinitely. When thinking about that aspect, we know that it's because we destroyed the Nexus's save file, which stops it from being able to reload itself, and then now we are able to finally destroy it. Seth being at his most courageous, yeah, that certainly helps in the fight, but it was not the true thing that allowed for the chance at destroying the Nexus. Like the infinite bravery part, yeah, we that's important because it allows us to overcome, the Nexus's ultimate attack, being able to steal memories, but it's not what allows us to really destroy it in the end. It's the destroying of the save slot that the Nexus has.
Which is why the Wind Crystal blesses Seth once again in the final after credits scene.
No place of rest. This being so, your journey must continue.
The Wind Crystal re-blessing Seth feels more like either a reward for choosing life and continuing to fight on and being brave and defeating the Knight's Nexus and doing all that, and it's rewarding him like, yeah, normally at the end of this you would have returned to the realm of the dead, but you have friends now, you have a new life, go and enjoy it. That's what it feels like. It feels like that reward. You defied fate, saved the world, you deserve to have your happy ending now. That's what that feels like to me. Or it's just setting up for sequel baiting, which, whatever. That's a common practice, but like, I want a sequel to this game, so I'm fine with it. But I can kind of also see the point about him like having to come back because he is Bravery and has to continue bringing Bravery to land. That's fine. I just don't agree with the point of the Nexus only being able to be defeated when Seth is at his most courageous.
In the end, Bravely Default 2 is a game about what it truly means to be brave, to know how to stand tall even in adversity, and to know that doing the right thing sometimes comes at a cost, but you do it anyway to preserve the greater good. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I agree with that point. Yeah, nothing wrong with that point at all. Yeah, that's a good wrap-up point, but overall, I think the theory felt a little hashed up and not perhaps elaborated on enough, I think. Maybe not enough for my liking, I guess. I guess I'm just picky when it comes to Bravely because I like to be thorough. And that's just me. But yeah, that's... Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. As I said, there's some points that I agree with in this theory, some points that I don't agree with, a lot of points I don't agree with. Some of them, and the thing at the end of the day, one thing I think that kind of contributes to the two perspectives that KillerMontage seems to have and one that I seem to have, maybe related to how much we consider the player in this. KillerMontage seems to consider the player and Seth to be more of one entity, and that might be what is affecting their perspective, while I tend to view the player and Seth as two separate entities based on having played the previous games and like the nature with the celestial realm and celestial beings and that kind of stuff, and then taking that kind of perspective and applying it to this game and seeing things in a different light perhaps. And so that's why I guess I think differently. I'm thinking that that's the feeling that I get, is that a lot of this is coming from the idea that Seth and the player are kind of the same person. And I'm not saying that they aren't connected, but there is distinctions between them, I believe. They are very closely related, though. So I think that is like the main big point where this this change in perspective comes from, especially when it concerns Seth. But that is my thoughts on this theory. Overall, I think exploring it a bit deeper and talking a bit longer about it might have really helped in aiding the argument. I understand if KillerMontage is again doing these shorter videos because that's what their style is. But I'm of the other mindset where I believe that if you're doing a theory like this or something, you should really flesh it out, get as many points across to really defend and your argument and hone your edge against naysayers such as myself in this case. There are some points I agree with. They're very, but overall, I don't necessarily agree with this theory. But that's where I turn to the audience watching this. What do you guys think of this theory? Do you agree with it? Do you think I'm in the wrong here? Do you think there's maybe some points that I may have missed or misinterpreted? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you like this kind of video. I have to get, if you do, I'll get more used to talking more freely and openly like this in the future. This has been a weird one for me because again, I don't usually speak without the script unless I'm live streaming, but even then there's a level of interaction at the time, and I had debated on doing this live because I thought it might be easier for myself. So maybe in the future I'll do more analysis live and stuff because I think that might be fun, and then we can have some discussion in the chat. But that's going to be it for this. Thank you for watching, and thank you to KillerMontage for making this video. I will leave a link to it in the description of this one. Go check it out if you wish, and see what you think of it and leave your thoughts on it. Don't go harassing this guy. Don't go dislike brigading. That's awful, horrible crap. He doesn't deserve it. Like just because I don't agree with the theory, I could be the only one that's wrong. I could be completely wrong, and everybody else says, "Huh, you know what? This guy's theory makes more sense." And you know what? That's fine. At the end of the day, it's your decision. But thank you very much for watching my response to this theory. Let me know if there's more kind of response videos you want me to do in the future. Have a good day, and I guess I'll see you soon.